Is it just me, or is America? I don't think I've ever said the word cooked, but is America cooked beyond repair? The reason I ask this question is because there are so many issues going on all at once, and of course it could be, perfect timing. There's so much down there. Perfect timing to just let certain things slowly disappear from the media, the e-files. But all these anti-ICE protests and all these fools that are getting in the way of ICE officers doing their work, these people, I believe, want America to truly just die. I don't understand that. This is the greatest country on earth. And you cannot deny that. No one can deny that. We literally have freedom of speech. And no one can take that away from you. And you use your freedom of speech, your First Amendment right to protest immigrants being arrested and sent back to their home countries. The violent ones, the ones that are repeat offenders, the ones that cause problems in the communities. These people are going out of their way to not necessarily stop because they haven't stopped it. Maybe they've caused a couple ICE facilities to be shut down, but they haven't stopped it. These people are still getting deported, but they're getting in the way of making America safe again. At least safer than it was, because not that I'm gonna discourage people or even myself to, be vigilant and aware of what's going on, but it's that constant anxiety that you never know what's going to happen because of these. There's so many problems and people that are just so ill-intended. I don't know. But this video is my take on how to save America. I was getting way off topic. In my opinion, these are not the only things to save America, but this is just a start. This is not I don't think this will be detailed in any way, but the first step is to just close all the borders. All people that are trying to come here for any reason should be denied citizenship or the ability to reside here for at least 15 years until America has healed all of its problems. By closing the border, this will allow all the drugs that are being brought here to astronomically be cut down, and it's not going to be great, like the healing process of it, but the people won't be able to get drugs, and the people won't be able to depend on them. It'll bring a better America, and all these violent criminals will stop coming here to cause problems. Like all these gangs and whatnot, literally, they're coming from outside of the Bloods and Crips and all those type of gangs. All the cartels and stuff, they're coming from outside of America, and they're getting in here and then selling these drugs that are just not good for the community. This is just destabilizing America. Yeah, maybe I didn't explain that as much as I could have. But anyway, the second step would be to remove those in power that are anti-America. And I strongly stand by this. I'm not even the most patriotic person, but there should not be a single member in Congress in any form of leadership that is anti-America in America. That pisses me off greatly. People like Ilhan Omar should not even be in America, but she's a political figure. That is insane. Also, remove anyone who is doing everything in their power to take away rights from the American people, like the Second Amendment. That is a major one, for sure. That is... I want to get a gun. And not because I want to harm anybody, but I want to get a gun for protection. Why is it that in New York City, you cannot get a gun without going through so many licenses and registrations just to get a handgun? And then on top of that, you can't even wear something like body armor. Anything like it is wild how they're just like throwing us to the wolves if we get into a situation where you are, you're being held at gunpoint or something like that. You have no way to defend yourself, not even with pepper spray, because all that is illegal. That's insane. But with this second step, this is more than likely, this may result in dissolving the Democratic Party, and I'm all for it because they are a party of violence and they just seem to be okay with it. And expanding on the second step would to not allow those who are migrants to hold any form of office in America. They are migrants, not Americans. They will come here and try to bring their beliefs and project them onto America. We don't need that. We will continue holding our Christian values strongly. These people are often anti-America. I'm sorry I said that so monotonely, but there's a family member just hovering around my fucking door. The next step would be to remove ourselves from the Middle East and all Middle Eastern conflicts. The reason I say this is because there is an I country, and going off the words of heavy duty country, I forgot, what is his name? Hold on. Heavy Duty Country is the YouTuber's name that likes to call this country in the Middle East the I country, not Iran. So going off his words, the I country in the Middle East, not Iran, does pretty much nothing for America and its citizens. They are being funded by us and our tax-paying dollars to bomb the Middle East. And I want nothing to do with them. If they want to start conflicts, then they can deal with all the repercussions of that. I would not like to dwell on this topic. The next step would be to leave the UN and stop funding all these third world countries. That I'm strongly for. All these countries like India, which I'm pretty sure it's maybe a second world country. I don't know. I'm gonna look back on that, but it might as well be a third world country. These people, money cannot save them. And there is another YouTuber that I've picked up on this from. I believe his name is Aesthetics TV. It really dawned upon me how much money that is being exported to all these different countries, and they're not using it wisely. And even if they are, you can't change that culture. All these African countries, all these countries such as India, you cannot help them. They don't want to change. And I think we should stop sending them money. That's the point. The next step would be to promote the nuclear family again. This seems to be the healthiest way children can grow to be beneficial to the society they live in and the world. Remove porn, dating apps, and social media. Bring back shame so people can act right. Social media it's not bad to have, but it's not necessarily healthy to have. The next step would be to jail people who are promoting harmful ideologies to children. These people are the worst of the worst and should never be allowed to teach, care, or be near children again. These people are mentally ill and want their way of thinking to spread. This is another one that has been shown in many cases where a teacher will spread their ideologies, such as the ideology of communism or a belief system. I don't know. Like why an American wants to have a communist country. That is wild. When it's been shown and proven till today, communist countries don't last. Or if not, they eventually collapse. That's beyond me. Or if not, the trans ideology. What goes through a person's mind to tell a kid that is in puberty or prepubescent that it's okay to want to be the opposite sex, and it's okay to have your life essentially ruined before you even get the chance to really understand the consequences of doing such harmful things to your body. But yeah, this is very awkward. My family is all around my fucking door. The next step is to remove anybody that are in the e-files. For America's sake, they can no longer hold any power in the world. That means all the billionaires, millionaires, politicians, political figures, or rich families that have had any involvement in the files need to go. This cannot be ignored like it has been the past year, having the Iran war just cover the news and all the Ukraine and Russia war. There needs to be serious consequences for the people that have been in the e-files. The reason I say this is because if it's brought to light that all these people in power have done heinous things to people and children, there more than likely will be a civil war. There will be no coming back from that. I would say this should be the last step, because America doesn't really need that right now. There's too many problems going on within. There's too much violence. There's too much mental illness. There's too much drug use, porn use, alcohol use, all these problems. The job market. There's too many issues going on. So I would say this step should be the last, because the next step, or I should have put the e-files as the last one, but I didn't think about that. So the next step is making sure there is no outside influence on the U.S. from any other nations. The reason I say this is because of the I country. The I country definitely holds a damn near leash on America currently, and it doesn't make sense. Why are we letting this small nation that's the size of fucking New Jersey have so much stake in America in all the things we do? Trump may say that he attacked Iran for different reasons, but the reason is clear. It's because of Israel. Whoops, the I country. It's because of the I country. It is wild how I've been seeing and hearing that once you put that I country's name in your video, the video gets instantly shadow banned. And it's crazy how much power they have here. But they're not the only one. China has influence here. Russia has influence here. All these other nations that want to see the downfall of America have influence here. There should be no influence from the other nations. There's other things to go on this list, but maybe I'll visit this again in a proper setting so I can speak clearly instead of whispering, because I don't wish to have a conversation with my family about why I'm just talking to myself about these issues. But remember where I got this question from. It's not like a crazy question or anything like that, like a question that brings on an epiphany, but of all the problems in the world and America and things like the e-files or the Iran war, just what are you going to do about this? That is a question I ask myself every day since I've heard that, and I think I've heard that maybe a few months ago. I've always wanted to do something about the state of the world, but I think that's a bit too big at this current time. So, America would be the most ideal thing to narrow it down to. Because the feeling of helplessness is something I felt for the last, yeah, I would say 10 or so years. What am I going to do about it? I don't have money. I don't have power. I don't, I can't really do anything about this. But I do know the only way to help others is to make sure you can take care of yourself first. So, yeah.